Welcome back from the break, everybody. And I mean, those new graphics just don't get old. The welcoming in with all the heroes and the colors and everything. I mean, I'm all about it.
Well, by definition, they're new graphics, so they wouldn't be old yet.
It wouldn't be old yet. And maybe by the end of the season, they will get old, Hex. I get what you're going, but as far as I'm concerned right now, I'm still stoked about them. They're sick.
Yeah?
Enough said. Enough said.
Well, I mean, we have a matchup to talk about that's a little more important than the graphics. We got Guangzhou versus Dallas. And this should be a good one, because Guangzhou went to 5 in their earlier map versus Chengdu. Dallas didn't look good in their first match. Looked a lot better in their second match against Seoul. So it's kind of with a real Dallas fuel, please stand up.
Well, okay, we'll see, Slim Shady, but the teams are ready to go. So let's get into the action, guys, and it's going to be our first team to the stage, the Guangzhou Charge.
Now you saw their first match versus Chengdu.
Oh, I thought you were going to point out the lone fan as well. She's there, she's there, she's ready.
The first match versus Chengdu was all over the place. Chengdu doesn't really play 3-3. They don't play 3 tanks, 3 supports. And so the Charge didn't really either. If you like Ana play, if you like Tracer play, then the Guangzhou Charge are the team for you. You got Hopper in there, shoot, put up some ridiculous Ana numbers. So this is a fun team to watch.
Yeah, it's exciting for sure, and I'm definitely looking forward to this match in particular because, yes, Dallas are also very, interesting in terms of what's going on with that roster, the developments there, and we're going to get to learn more, obviously, in just a few moments because I do believe that the Dallas Fuel are ready to make their way to the stage.
Burn Blue, some of the fan favorites, new addition, RCK leading the charge there. You got Zachary, OG. I think the questions have to be answered today. You go 0-4 in your first match, you go 3-1 against an improved Seoul team. It's really, you don't know which Dallas team to expect. They've tried to run some interesting compositions. I think, if we go to Busan, they've tried to run what Guangzhou had run before, but this is going to be your starting 6 for the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, look at that effect. Mad Eyes. He's here to hurt. He's here to do some damage, Hanks. And well, shout out to all the fans sporting the XUC jerseys in the hall as well. Let's go, my doggies! Let's get into the match because it is going to be a good one, Hanks. And the real question coming into it, is how are things shaping up on the command side of things for the Dallas Fuel? Are they going to be coordinated, or is it still going to be a little wonky?
Yeah, and it's kind of varied map to map with this team. They did defeat Seoul in their most recent one 3-1, but it seemed like there were a couple of instances where it wasn't communication, just kind of a luck shot through the air, a self-destruct that catches 3 out of nowhere after a fight's kind of lost, and they brought it back. So really, I think there's just a ton of questions to be answered, and I think an interesting challenge for them is going to be this Guangzhou squad, because Dallas wants to be an adaptive team. They want to be counter-picking teams. And how do you really counter-pick a team that's going to run in Ana, Sombra, Tracer, Hammonds, all over the place? So this should just be a fun one.
Well, let's get into it. It is the map set presented by Toyota, and once again, Hex, we find ourselves on Busan to kick off a series, and I'm happy for that. Busan, beautiful map, and a whole variety of strategies that we get to see as well. Teams, we actually might get to see some Widow again.
Yeah, so Guangzhou ran mostly Ana, Widow, Tracer, Hammonds, Sombra, and Lucio, I believe, on this. Now, Dallas also tried to do that in one of their matches. They ran it for one fight, decided not for them, and then changed it up and went to a tank-heavy, support-heavy with a Sombra in the mix on it, too. So they did try it out a little bit, but I think this is going to be a great test to see if Dallas Fuel's adaptability and
are they able to evolve?
Yeah, and I think this is the lineup that Guangzhou wants to run. They want to run this kind of disruption composition, disruption and damage.
To get into their face, apply the damage, apply the disruption, collect the W. That's what it's all about, Hex. One step after another. We're going to see if they're capable today. We're going to be kicking it off on Busan. And both of these teams on the offense looking to get control of that point in the middle of the map. King of the Hill style. Longer you hold on to that point, longer you hold on to that point, better it goes for you, and that's eventually how you get the win. But moving right in, it is going to be Happy on the Widow, matched on the other side by Zachary. Effect on his Tracer. And this is really where Effect gets to shine. When he gets to play that Tracer, it's always a joy to watch, so definitely looking for a strong performance from him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which one of these Widows gets the better of it early on. Zach not necessarily known or made his name on the Widowmaker. And right away, Rio finds him early, takes down Zach. Now the first capture will go over to the Dallas Fuel, but the fight is going in favor of the Charge. They get 2 very quick kills, should be able to get onto this point and clean it up.
Yeah, exactly right. That's the thing. If you're winning the fight, eventually, yep, you're going to get the flip. So it will be the Charge who will start gaining now. 10% on the board for Dallas Fuel. Plenty of opportunities here to come right back into this fight. RCK working his edge, not his edge. He is not a lord of the edge, but he is on the edge going toe-to-toe right now with Eileen, who seems to have let him by.
Now, RCK adds some versatility to this Dallas game. He's on the Sombra for now. Happy taken out by Zach. I think that was a misinformed kind of jump. I don't think he even knew where Zach was. Punishes him too, so that is 2 swift kills for the Dallas Fuel. 64 under the point.
OG had to be careful there. Does manage to back out. Rio was dead. He'll be spinning his way for the win right back into it again. And Hotba, we've seen this a bit so far at the beginning of the season, getting the damage boost, getting the nano onto the Tracer. Doesn't really seem to be able to take too much advantage of it though. Zachary right now just wrecking house. 2 kills for him and 1 for effects. 3 quick kills for Dallas Fuel. That's going to set them up well here to take control of the point.
Very nice there. It did take him a little bit of time to be able to flip that one back. Guangzhou did a good job of stalling out the point there, but Zach really coming alive on his Widow. He's in the Widow v Widow battle can really come down to who has the ultimate up at any given time. You see Zach right now going to use his ultimate ability, Infrasight, to be able to find the enemy team through walls.
Oh, and that sets him up beautifully to go ahead and capitalize on an EMP. RCK pulling that one off, and that's going to delay things further for the Charge. Really throwing it in there. They didn't waste much time. I mean, the Infrasight sometimes just acts as a deterrent all on its own because they know where you're coming for the next 20 seconds. They know where you're going to be coming from, but RCK decides to just go ahead and hop on in there. So we have OG. I know you're supposed to say the E, but it's like just OG.
You're not supposed to say the E. He just puts it in there just to throw you off. Mission accomplished,
You should have
OG.
just added an R in there, Ogre, you know? Like, let's go with that, but, you know, it's OG. And, well, that's a dead Zachary. No, gets the help, and he is going to get the support. Eileen has to back out.
Trying to find their angle back in here. Hotba was so good with his pulse bombs last week. They're going to lay down some crowd control onto the point, some mines to try to deter them from coming down. An interesting ultimate there. She was able to counter-snipe Zach using his Ana. There are the bombs from OG, much more effective, but Happy's able to clean up too. This one's very back and forth.
It's interesting, the fact that they just walk right into him. Yes, they go boom in your face if you happen to get too close, guys. That's how mines work, usually. Rio, 2 kills there. And we're going to have a slight contest. It's a Hammond on Hammond fight. It's going to last a while. OG's got the edge, but he is going to lose control and not able to continue to buy time. And so it will be the Charge now. Back and forth this first point here. The teams are feeling each other out.
Yeah, it could have just been an airdrop from OG. I don't think we caught it on screen there when he got those people in the mines. But we'll see where Unka wants to put this nano on. Eileen just giving team scouting information. There's the EMP, but they have to clean up the Tracers in the back line. It's the Sombra Tracer dive, and they will clean up the kills they needed.
Whoa, yeah, they managed to get it done. It looked a little dicey there, and Eileen will eventually fall, but Rio with 2 kills. Looking good here for the Charge. 83% and counting. It's going to be on the Dallas Fuel now. And well, as far as the Dallas Fuel are concerned, still a little ways off. I mean, RCK could get that EMP up for this next fight.
They've got support ultimates.
Who's going to get the boost?
I mean, maybe you even give it to your Sombra so that you can just go out in the open and then charge up the EMP right away?
Yeah, as fast as possible. Oh,
Slapped. What a dart from Shu.
Perfect sleeve. RCK not going to happen anytime soon. 3 kills just like that for the Charge. And now it's on Fuel right now. Stop trying to hang in here, but it's not going to be for long. They're getting forced back, and it will be the first point picked up for the Charge.
Super close back and forth, 13 kills to 15. Guangzhou with that 2-kill advantage, able to take the round 99. And we'll see if the Fuel can even it up when we get back from the break.
And we're back into the action here live from Los Angeles, the Blizzard Arena. Dallas Fuel versus Guangzhou Charge, and it's going to be the Charge with the lead right now, up 1-0. Dallas Fuel backs to the wall, got to get it done here, and it doesn't look like they're going to change up their strategy, neither team in fact.
This was the stage they had experimented on this comp before switching off of it, but that's a much better opener than they had on their last attempt. Zach has been able to get the better part of these exchanges with Happy.
Yeah, in the head-to-head duel right now, Zach is getting work done. He's got 5 final blows to his name. Happy only 3. So Zachary now, long range, all the room in the world to work with. It's about controlling those angles though. Rio just gonna go charging right on through, dropping out of the heavens. He's gonna get chased away. And there it is. Happy catches Zachary looking the wrong way, puts one through his head, and that is the start that Charge we're looking for. Could have an identical outcome here, Hex. 10% on the board for the Fuel. Looks like they'll get past that. So the Charge not quite able to make their way onto the point, but they are finding kills.
It's been so impressive to watch Hapa transition. Last year he played a diva role or an off-tank role for the most time, and his Tracer thus far has been phenomenal. There's no other word for it. He's going toe-to-toe with some of the best Tracers in the world, and he's winning these battles. He's exactly where he needs to be, and the coordination with him and the other damage-dealing heroes on the Charge have been great.
In fact, having a bit of a rough time right now so far in this match. Only 2 final blows for him on the Tracer. You got a pretty clear picture there as well. If you get that hack off on that Tracer, there isn't a whole lot that she can hope to do. Well, it turns out a headshot works just as well. And in fact, we'll find Chara as well. So there's the strong start for this engagement that the Fuel were hoping for. Now can they capitalize on this? Do we have any contest? Not going to happen here for the Charge. Fuel now in control, back and forth.
This has just been a teeter-totter. Whoever gets that opening Widow pick seems to win the fight thereafter. Right now, Dallas in control and counting up. They will take the control percentage lead on this point.
The walls are up on the point. Now we need to find the shots. Hammond v. Hammond, longest fight in history. A bit faster than a Winston v. Winston, but still.
Charger just going to wait this one out. Happy is nearing his infra sight as well. He's got it. Now he pops it. Huge information advantage now for the Guangzhou Charge. They're able to see where everybody for the Dallas Fuel is lined up, and especially when you're running a more chaotic composition like this, that information is so important.
You're going to have to take advantage of it here because they are still making progress right now, the Fuel. And so far, Rio's just camped out on the point. Finally, they get some bodies on there, Dallas, to start contesting this. But so long as Rio's around, it's going to be hard to deal with him. Gets boosted up as well. He's getting put to sleep. Not the hardest target to hit. But now, just back and forth. Big EMP gets thrown out into the wind. Do we have a hack? We have a couple of them. Chara having to back off. Could get that sound barrier in here to help his teammates out. Rio trying to roll his way, and he somehow survives. Effect can't quite get the kill.
They've not been able to flip the point over. It was very, very close, but Dallas has maintained their, Charge have maintained their point advantage right now as it's 49-73 for Dallas Fuel. Dallas needs to win this stage, otherwise they will lose the map and go down 0-1.
They're not looking good here for the Fuel. Need to keep it together. I mean, right now OG's kind of caught off on his own, cut off from the rest of his team. And his teammates trying to find a way in through these choke points, dodging the shots. Good job there, but that's not going to stop Happy from, once again, Happy. 2 kills for him, 2 headshots, and a 3rd as well. Why not? He's single-handedly taking control of the map right now. The sniper play is phenomenal.
I've been really high on Happy since early in the season as one of the better Widowmakers in the league. Right now, he's making me look a little bit smart, which is a hard task to pull off. But this triple right here, Happy, the thing about watching him play Widows, he makes it look easy. His ability to move from target to target so quickly is what makes him such a good Widow.
Oh, that was a sick first shot on his side. That was great. Nano boost on Chara, of all things. He's going to get silenced, though. Sound barrier goes out for the Fuel, and it's now or never for them. 99% for the Charge on the point. EMP gets thrown in. Multiple hacks on the Fuel side of things. Charge looking to capitalize on this, but OG holding his own right now. Just melting them.
That might have been an EMP that Eileen wishes he had back because several members already dead. Meanwhile, now there should be an opening for Happy to try to do some work because Zach is down. He doesn't have to worry about a counter Widow. And they're going to put some pressure on the point. Hotba takes down Effect in the back. Charge have taken control of the point. Dallas has to get on here or they lose the map.
They need to get a body on here, and they're going to do it just in time. OG's here. The heroes spread out mines. He immediately gets picked. RCK throwing in the EMP. Not going to find anybody off of the back of that, and this could very well be it. It's Unko. They're just charging in now as best they can. Effect as well here to try and stall. But they're going in one after another, and it's just not going to be good enough. Nobody here for the Fuel, and it will be the Charge taking the lead in this series, 1-0.
The Charge able to successfully string kills together a little more often than the Dallas Fuel. That leads to them getting the advantage and taking the first map. See if Dallas can rebound when we return from the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody, and we have a lead right now for the Charge. Dallas Fuel, once again, left wondering what do they need to do to change. Perhaps we're going to see that now, Hex, but go ahead and enlighten us. What's going on with the Fuel?
Well, it's interesting. They wanted to play Guangzhou at their own game there, and Guangzhou was like, that's the style that they absolutely want to play. And it was just that Guangzhou was able to get 3 kills where Dallas would get 2 at a time, and they were able to come back and contest. I think that Hoppa was just always a problem harassing people, and then even though the first stage looked really good for Zach, I think Happy just had an overall bigger impact as the map went on.
Yeah, we also saw some solid performance from Shu, but that comes as no shock. It's really about, like, keep your eye on Happy, keep your eye on Shu, and keep your eye on Hoppa, the big 3 right now for the Charge. But we already, I think, you know, for the perceptive there on stream, you guys have already noticed a change in the lineup here. The man is in the house, Hex. AKM is here.
AKM has had such an interesting Overwatch League career so far. He's been put in strange positions last year with the Dallas Fuel, playing heroes that he wasn't necessarily ready to play or prepared to play, but he's taken it all in stride. He's done nothing but improve his play, and now he's becoming a bigger part of the communication construct for the Dallas Fuel.
It seems like it. It seems like we had a bit of a conversation earlier, and it is going to be AKM calling a lot of the shots along with OG and Closer.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's a trio right now that are working together to make things happen here for the Fuel. But as far as the Fuel are concerned, I mean, is this the answer? You know, Effect was in the first map. It didn't pan out. Now is it a question of AKM coming in here to fix things and bring his team back into it?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's also you see Kib's going to come in for Eileen. Eileen didn't have the greatest impact on Sombra, but I think it might be a hero that he's trying to learn about. But I think if Guangzhou want to continue playing this style of just spread out chaos disruption, then your communication has to be even more on point. You have to call where everybody is all over the place. Everybody's going to need help. But more importantly, you're going to have to start winning some of those individual duels. And it seemed like Tracer v Tracer, that even Hoppa got the better of Effect at certain times. Now, we didn't see all of those fights, so it's not full clip versus full clip. Maybe he sneaks up on him. But it did seem like a bigger impact overall.
Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a look at real quick at a big event that'll be coming up, the Dallas Ultimate Weekend.
Make some noise and welcome to the stage. Give it up for the boys from Texas. It's the Dallas Fuel.
Going to be a better transcend. It's Effect!
There we go, buddy. There we go. We can get the self-destruct with 2. Into the winner 1v1. Now the shield get. Oh, he comes in. He pouring some over people on this.
Be sure to check out DallasFuel.com. You do not want to miss it. The first time that we're going to be on the road here, and the matches are going to be electric. So be sure to visit the website, pick up your passes now, because it's not going to. You're not going to want to miss it.
Just jot it down in your calendar. April 27th, April 28th. You know, if you have one of those wall calendars, your fridge calendar, your Google calendar, whatever kind of calendar you have.
I was about to say, I think all those paper versions of the calendar don't even exist anymore. It's like, what is in my phone that works with this thing?
All right, we are headed to Hollywood
You don't get,
next.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, go ahead.
No, I still have a calendar in my fridge from like those pizza places. They hand you the free fridge magnet.
Yeah, and then it has their number on it.
That's the point,
Those are the
right?
real
It's
heroes.
called marketing.
Those are the real
Something
heroes.
that Hollywood knows all about. We saw Dallas make some changes going in through here. And Dallas is a team that can run what we just saw, but they can also run 3-3. They're trying to be this highly adaptable team. Hollywood often a map that you see 3 tanks and 3 supports on, so I would not be surprised if that is what they want to do. They also ran variations of this where AKM will play a Sombra, so they've got a lot of tools in their kit to be able to work with.
Yeah, very curious to see the level that AKM is going to bring to the table here. Just because, I mean, he really did have a spotted past, or at least a really rough start to his Overwatch League career last year. It was constant struggle for him. Now we're coming into it. You know, AKM isn't quite rich yet, but he's working on it. It is looking up, at least in this season.
He had that great moment on Widowmaker recently and all sorts of things. But this is, you know, he's a player that's been in Overwatch since, it seems like the beginning of time. And he has had his own squad. He, you know, former teammates with Unko as well, and now reunited. And, yeah, we'll see. 4 of Happy's 8 deaths were to Zachary. Happy only returned the favor twice. Thank you, Captain Planet, for throwing me under the bus. Much appreciated.
Well, it's also like, oh man, I really wonder who the Widowmaker. No, we don't get to see Widowmaker much. Sorry, man. It's 3-3. That's pretty much it. So no mysteries here. It is going to be 3-3 right out the gates for both teams. 3 tanks, 3 supports. The big beef.
Yeah, this is what the map dictates that you pretty much must play on this. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how Guangzhou is able to do it, because they didn't have to do a ton of this against Chengdu.
No, but they're just going to go ahead and just hop over. They're like, right, you want to hang out on that high ground, Dallas Fuel? Well, you're going to have to contest on the point at some point. And, well, dropping so low, that was very scary there for Rio. He is going to be able to survive, but he nearly got clipped, and that would have been the end of the push for the charge. Everybody on the charge right now kind of hanging on by a thread. Dallas Fuel sticking together, doing a good job of working behind OGE's shield.
Still just kind of a delicate balance on the point here. No high ground for either team. Well, actually, no, they've rotated. Happy is on the high ground. He's got Graviton ready. He's just going to launch it in there. Everybody caught up, swinging the hammer through in a pure cleanup.
Oh, wow. Zachary's going to wish that he had that rally back as well. Threw the rally in, hoping to be able to survive in that grab, and it's just not going to be good enough. Team kill for the charge, and they are going to be very happy indeed, collecting this first point and still having a couple of ults in the bank to work with. Char's ult is about to come online with that sound barrier. We've nearly got the self-destruct and the shatter. I mean, Charge right now, everything went right for them on that first point.
Well, they were able to win it with a single ultimate, and that's because Happy just got there a little bit quicker, able to displace Dallas's Zarya from the high ground, take high ground of their own, and do so much damage from on high that they just had the grab, chucked it in there, won the fight. Simple as that.
1, 2, 3, connect the dots. It all works in the end. AKM having to back off. Trying to work up that energy, but there's the shatter. Is there a follow-up possible? It's definitely looking like it. Rio just pasted 2, and OGE gets run over by Happy. Just like that, the charge powering through fight after fight.
They ended up committing the Earth Shatter, the rally, and a Transcendence into it, but it's fine because the Shatter was used on the other side from Dallas. Dallas still with an advantage, but that's just a really nice work by Charge to spot that window, to be able to knock AKM down. You know you're tracking ults. You know AKM has probably done enough to get his grab up, so you see him out there. You're able to take that fight, take him out of the equation.
Let's see if he can get that grab off this time here for AKM if there's an opportunity. There is an angle here perhaps, but Hotba is going to hang around close enough where the D-Matrix will have an effect. So still, AKM. We do see that. Oh, right into the middle of him. There we go. There's the angle. Self-destruct chucked over the top.
Combo.
And they will get the combo off. And there's the solid hold that Dallas Fuel were looking for.
Perfect execution. AKM was tracking that defense matrix. He saw it come online. Defense matrix has a 2-second cooldown window. Chucked it right at the Diva, knowing he was safe to do that. Then you always combo it with the self-destruct. And the last piece of the equation is, how do you get the shield down to make sure the self-destruct hits? In this case, it was a really nice charge from OG. Dallas stabilizes.
So one fight for Dallas. A little bit more confidence here for them, perhaps. And they will have the Shatter coming online for OGE in just a moment. But now it's the charge. Nearly got a 6-pack rolling. And a thirsty Hex.
Well, they've got the 3-piece that they're looking for right now. So it's all about Happy's initiation. Can he find a window in which to land this Graviton Surge?
He's hanging off on the side right now. They're obviously trying to just chunk him down and really put the pressure on. Going to bring him all the way up onto the high ground. That's going to make it difficult to get the follow-up, however. And there will be no kills from that self-destruct. So a little unfortunate with the placement of that grab. Didn't really allow his team to follow up on it. And they had a couple. It's only the 2 ultimates that got committed. They still have the Shatter. And that's going to be Rio throwing it in now.
OG Shatter got blocked. AKM's able to take down Rio. The other side of things, now Transcendence being committed as well. And it seems like the Guangzhou charge is actually retreating instead.
They're charging back the other way.
Hey, that's what
so easy.
retreating is.
So easy.
That last grab, there were a couple mistakes there. I mean, he tried to get cute with it and got the grab on Tyre, but even if that, the timing was off because the grab faded before the self-destruct even landed where the grab was previously. So just a little bit of a timing error from Guangzhou cost him that fight. Now, it's going into the next bit of it. AKM's got Graviton. Couple support ults should be up, so you've got grab self-destruct for Dallas.
Oh, surprise, surprise! Fully charged AKM. Gonna be taking him for a ride. RCK removes Rio just like that. And you don't want to get to AKM right now. Sounds like a angry hornet.
Now you get to back up there, only using that one. Ultimate's really nice. They're able to get the 1 kill, and that's a 1 fight, depending on the target you're able to take down in these mirror matchup compositions.
So you can see Happy charging forward, trying to soak some damage. And Dallas Fuel have succeeded in rallying now. They are sticking together. Zachary's about to get Rally online, so they'll have that ult to work with. Self-destruct initiate, no time wasted. Rio getting stunned for an instant, cost him his life. And just like that, the Fuel are looking fantastic here in this hold.
Rio was a little bit too far ahead of his team. They notice it immediately, and they just launch in that self-destruct. Yes, it's part of the combo pieces, but again, if you're able to take out the other team's main tank, that's usually a 1 fight anyway, so why use 2 ultimates when 1 will suffice?
Rally through, let's go. Time to change up the pace here for the charge. Wanting to take the fight straight to him. Dallas Fuel gonna counter with a rally of their own. Both of these teams now gonna be pretty much full on HP as the sound barrier gets thrown in, and that is gonna be the tipping point where the Dallas Fuel are finally able to run down Kib and Rio as well. Rio has not been having a fun time of it. 5 deaths so far for him, most on the server. Happy isn't far behind with 4 though.
Well, we've mostly seen Rio on the Hammond so far in the Overwatch League this year. You have to start questioning how good is this Reinhardt play, and it's mostly just been 2 or 3 steps ahead of his team, and Dallas has done a great job of taking advantage of that. Now, high ground AKM is going to use a lot of damage up top, uncontested, gets his Graviton Surge up, wants to back up with his team. Dallas has done a great job retreating.
Well, let's see, is there a bubble? No, closer. Out in the open, gets picked off. But we still have a couple on the board. Rio, once again, getting focused down. Transcendence has to get thrown in here by Shu, trying to keep his teammates alive, and it's going to work. But now you're in overtime. You are not allowed to lose another fight if you're the charge, and you still have a whole long way to go before you're in the second point.
There should at least be 1 more fight before second point comes on here, as they're going to have to push that limo around the bend, while Dallas is set up to everything they could possibly want. Sans Closer's ultimate. They're going to have grab, they're going to have shatter. Zach is close to rally, so that should cover up for any deficiencies for not having sound barrier. Meanwhile, they're going to have to get a couple of good engagements from charge, make sure that this fight goes long enough that they can get other ultimates up.
They have the fight enders of their own. Shatter is here. Rally gets thrown in by Zachary immediately to kick things off, just goes charging in. The sound barrier is going to get forced out by Chara. And now it's the self-destruct going right over the edge. Still finds a kill on Shu. Second time now, looking so good. Hoppa gonna get demexed, and now it's all gonna fall apart here for the charge. All done but the crying, Hex.
RCK had a bomb last week that some people weren't sure was intentional or not. But right there, he's shown some angles right now to use the bombs outside of the combo, getting a lot of value. And the Dallas Fuel will hold at the middle of Hollywood Street Stage. We'll see what comes up next after the break.
AKM, he was holding his teammates' hands momentarily during the break. He's just like, follow me. I will lead you to victory. Clearly, things are working out here for the Dallas Fuel. It's a different team that we're seeing now, not the team that got 2-0'd on the first map of this series. This is a team that is able to set up a defense and able to work together.
It's a different composition, and AKM seems to really understand it, or at least the communication structure of the Dallas Fuel, who they've got in now, seems to really get it. And you can tell based on how they're punishing some of these very small missteps. When you're running mirror compositions, it's about who makes fewer mistakes. And the mistakes are so minuscule that they're kind of hard to see sometimes, but it can be a Reinhardt two steps out of a position, maybe a Brigitte overextends looking to do more damage or hit that last Inspire hit, and it seems like they're calling it immediately and they're pouncing on it.
This is a different beast. Now let's see if they can follow it up here.
And this is the Sombra variation they like to run. This is the versatility RCK gives them. No Diva for them, they're just going to run Sombra instead. I wonder if Guangzhou will try to take advantage of this when they realize what they're up against.
He would just love to get Rio hacked right there. He goes for Happy instead. So RCK, he found a high-value target. That's a lot of damage, and the bubbles as well that are out of the picture for a moment there on the Fuel side of things. Now they're just going to go ahead and stare at each other from across the gap. Dallas Fuel calmly sipping their lattes. Not concerned. OG, he's done with his. He was quick.
Yeah, they just put a little bit of pressure on the point, make sure that they have to drop down from the high ground. It's only Happy who stays above in that Zarya high ground position. Rio's shield getting very low. Dallas has taken a lot of percentage on this point.
And they only got the 2 ticks on board already, and then Dallas just changing it up. Closer's alone, though he's under pressure, and Hotba is going to cut him off from the rest of the pack and remove him.
That was big. He just missed going up the stairs, and they're going to capitalize on it. 3 kills. Now that is a 1 defensive fight for the Guangzhou Charge. Upcoming, though, is RCK's EMP. And the reason you see EMP against 3 tanks and 3 supports so often is that tanks and supports rely on their abilities a little bit more than DPS heroes do. If you EMP a McCree, he can still shoot you. If you EMP a Reaper, he can still shoot you. Damage dealers just want to shoot you, whereas tanks and supports much more reliant on their abilities to stay alive and to do damage.
So a lot of positioning, a lot riding on RCK's shoulders. Nearly got a 6-pack online here for the Dallas Fuel in terms of ults. The Charge a little bit behind on Hotba, but I'm sure he's not going to take too long. But there's the angle from RCK. And the sound barrier perfectly countered. Rio still in this fight. It took everything to kill him, but they will succeed in the end. Despite it all, the Charge getting wiped out. Happy and Hotba the last 2 alive, and that's not going to be for long.
EMP so good against these compositions, strips off shields from a sound barrier as well. Now they're going to be able to push forward. Had to use everything, but I think it's fine there. It's similar to, you know, you're going to have to use stuff to win a fight, and I don't even mind when teams use overkill. You want to win the fight. You don't want to go into your final fights having to win first point, otherwise ending the map. So nice hack there.
Oh, that was a perfect cleanup.
Yeah.
But you're right to point out the number of ults the Dallas Fuel had to use to get this positive result. They only have sound barrier left. Whereas obviously we're gonna have the self-destruct thrown in here from the Charge, right around the angle, nowhere for AKM to hide. Bubble was on cooldown. So right back into it from the Charge. Yeah. Dallas Fuel right now need to get through this choke point.
Right now, Dallas is just counting ultimates used against them so that they can try to figure out the economy here. It's been noted that Closer might be one of the best ultimate trackers in the entire game. A couple of those Lucios come to mind, but he's very able to count how many ults and where they are getting their secondary ults as well.
All right, out into the open from Rio. No fear in his eyes. He's willing to take the fight to Dallas. Looking to find it, and now Rio just backing off. He's still got that shatter and sees it. Catches him with the shield down. This is big. Smooshes Zachary. Unko's gone, and just like that, the Charge are going to run right over the Fuel.
Fuel likely kind of okay with that. They're getting in a good ultimate position themselves, and that was a lot committed from the Charge. Little shy of 3 minutes left. Dallas probably has to win 2 fights to get to the escort marker on the ground, so Guangzhou wants to hold close here. And you want to force a team to use ultimates just to get out of spawn. That's going to slow them down a bit. They can't really do much when they came out of this fight.
Oh,
a nice fire strike hits Zach, too.
Delaying things further. 2.5 minutes on the clock here for the Fuel. And they have quite a bit of ground to cover themselves, so they need a win here. And it is coming up. It's looking like they will have the tools necessary in a moment. AKM with the Grav, Shatter, and we have the Trance as well. And again, we'll see if RCK can deliver on another fat EMP.
EMP wants to take down all the abilities. Defense Matrix would go down as well, and they'd be able to grab into it if they should so need, but that is 2 quick kills.
That was an aggressive EMP. It's like, I don't need to sneak up behind you if I can just teleport right on top of all of you and EMP that way. So RCK pays with his life, and will go for the swash to the Diva. But that's fine, he did his job. They got through the choke point, and now they have some room to maneuver with.
Well, they needed 1 fight to get into the Streets phase, and I said they probably need 2 fights to win it. Now, if they want, they can even bide their time. 142 should be enough time for a self-destruct, but they might just go for a shatter here and a rally. It's unclear unless they want to set up the enormous combo of the grab and the self-destruct and then the charge.
Charge electing to take the fight next to the rectangle of victory.
AKM getting some energy up, was at 0 momentarily, still only at 36, so he can't be his own follow-up to grab.
Yeah, there we
now
go.
He can.
Now he can. Now he can do some damage. And we will have the grab thrown in. Trance is there to counter at the shatter as well, and there's the stun. Combo works out. The charge off the back of a couple of ultimates will win the fight.
Well, we mentioned Hotba on the Tracer before, but now he's playing Diva, which was what he played in all of the 2018 Overwatch League season, and now 60 seconds remain. Dallas's last good chance is this Graviton. RCK still very far away from a self-destruct, so they're going to have to find some sort of follow-through. Going to be insanely difficult given the defensive ultimates that Guangzhou has available.
Yeah, exactly. We've got that sound barrier. We've got that Trance online.
And they have Rally, too. I mean, they've got everything they could possibly want defensively.
30 seconds on the clock. 1-1 fight here. That's all they need. Dallas Fuel. And there it is. The grab to open it up. Trance instantly used. Trying to cancel out the shield. And there's no follow-up here. It is the Fuel throwing everything into the mix. Sound barrier down for the Fuel as well. And well, the charge, they're surviving so far. Although, as I say that, RCK once again delivers with a self-destruct kill on Shu. Is it enough, though? They will have the hot button. No, he gets demeched immediately, and this is not looking good. It looks like Dallas may be able to win out. The Shatter will connect with 2.
Counter Shatter grab on the card. Is there any follow-up for this? They've lost too many already. Can Rio be the one lone champ here? It's him and a couple of tanks so back and forth. Rio just swinging the hammer, trying to clear him off the point.
What is going on? They're playing hot potato with AKM. He's dead. It's RCK now. Self-destruct forces him off the point. Closer's going to go for a boop, and this is it. Dallas Fuel down to 2. Who's going to be able to make it back in time? The answer is nobody. Nobody is close enough. Closer gets denied, and it will be the charge with a 2-0 lead over the Dallas Fuel.
The Charge have won in one style. The Charge have won in another. Dallas back against the wall, trying to get themselves on the right side of 500 for the season. We'll see if they can do so after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
It's halftime, and it's been all Guangzhou so far as they are up 2-0 over the Dallas Fuel. Rio welcomed himself to the Overwatch League with some clutch play there at the second half. What's up, guys? I'm here with Zoe and Brandon. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the highlights because there's a lot to unpack in that first half. Guys, Guangzhou looking very impressive with this aggressive style that they play.
Yeah, I just want to throw it out there. I called it. Brent did not.
You did, yeah. Straight up.
Anyway, let's talk about what we just saw in game. Charge showed up big on that first map. One in particular I want to once more point out is, of course, Shu. He completely outplayed his opposition. Anko, a seasoned Ana player. However, Shu had double as much healing. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. So it was
Go ahead,
rough
talk your
time.
talk.
But they got pretty much outplayed in almost every single role they're playing. OG did not have a good time against Rio whatsoever.
I was very surprised not to see AKM starting in the...
So was I. Yeah, honestly, they had a lot of success with AKM, but he was starting for Hollywood. They swapped him out in the end. And it was a very close game. It ended up going straight down to the wire for both of these teams. And honestly, I'm very impressed by the way that Guangzhou are actually playing this triple tank, triple support. I didn't know how well they were going to do when they were playing against Chengdu the other day. Again, they weren't really playing this comp because Chengdu plays such weird styles of Overwatch. They played the typical Chinese Overwatch, just an absolute clown fiesta all over the place, you know, usually. But I think it's the addition of Kib. He's very seasoned when it comes to playing the triple support, triple tank. I was very happy to see him in, you know, fellow UK man. Of
course.
Like, this guy, he's a fantastic player, and I think that having one player who does know how to play that triple tank, triple support composition, very important at really as well, just sort of coaching the rest of your team in that regard.
Right, and it's been cool seeing Rio shine on Reinhardt. Again, we didn't get to see him do that against Chengdu, but I think it's time for some insights powered by Intel. Brent.
I would love to take it away ASAP as soon as it pops up on the screen behind me right now, because it is a fantastic one. I'm going to explain the composition between the two teams here. Insights powered by Intel, once again. And it's an interesting one because it's the composition I'm talking about when both these teams, they ran out of. It's a mirror comp. In particular, I'm talking about the Hammond, I'm talking about the Tracer, I'm talking about the Sombra. You can see both these teams, they ran a mirror composition between them. Something that we don't see, really. We don't see this composition too often. Normally, they're running triple tank, triple support. But the entire idea behind this is, like I said, you use the Tracer, you use the Sombra, you use the Hammond, you use the Wrecking Ball. And you're trying to jump onto the backline. So this is just giving you an idea. It's a lot of high mobility heroes. You got a Widowmaker in there to boot as well because you want that long range damage threat so they can just get these picks. But this is really how it works. You're trying to set up a lot of these dives into the backline. You can see here RCK using the EMP. They're really setting up these dives. OG comes in as well with a power driver. I know they lost the map, but that doesn't matter because both these teams played the same comp. So it's all good at the end of the day, you know? But that's the entire idea behind it. I saw a couple of people were posting on social media. They were a bit confused as to how this composition works. So hopefully that will clear some things up for you.
All right, and that was our insights powered by Intel. Guangzhou currently up 2-0. Can the Dallas Fuel bring it back? We're going to find out in just a second.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Brilliant. We're back from the break, and we are definitely getting into a bit of a rough patch here for the Dallas Fuel. It has not improved, Hex. Perhaps the caster curse is a real thing. As was definitely kind of singing their praises there going into that second map. AKM looking great, defense looked solid, and then they just couldn't keep it together.
Yeah, and there was some really nice play at the end that I don't think we necessarily have time to really get into, but Guangzhou did a great job of staggering out their support ultimates. We mentioned going into that final fight that they had 3 of them. They started with Transcendence, added in Rally, used Sound Barrier later.
Yes.
Don't think they expected OG to get his shatter up. He was able to shatter, but then Rio comes back and just clears off the cart. But I actually kind of want to talk about what Bren said, like the Clown Fiesta.
Oh, okay.
The Clown Fiesta that was Guangzhou. I mean, it's a really good point, as Monty mentioned as well. Like, you don't want to out-Clown Fiesta the team that invented the Clown Fiesta. Like, Guangzhou wants to play that composition. I don't know why you try to run it against them on Busan when you've already struggled in that composition
Right, but
before.
now you need to do your best Bane impression. Go.
No, we're not doing it.
Come on.
No, I'll say
Come on,
I can't do it. You can't put me on the spot. It's more important that Effect is coming back in for AKM.
I was molded by the Fiesta. So
molded it. All right, so Effect comes back in for AKM. Makes me wonder what kind of compositions they want to run on Anubis. Anubis, you know, can be home to a couple clown cars of its own. So we'll see what teams want to run. There's a lot of options for several different DPS heroes to open things up. Sombra's almost always been good on this because I talked about the assault maps. You need to ace that last fight on the offense. Sombra's really good at acing fights.
This is where I wish we could see a bit more Symmetra, though, because that does align more with, like, the clown theme. You know, it's just like, oh, you thought there were no more turrets? Here's more turrets! You know, like, oh, you get a Torb in there, too, and just things keep spawning, and it never ends.
Yeah, it's a Mr. Heroes game for sure. We'll see. Dallas wants to leave spawn with this. And, you know, ask and ye shall receive, oh Semler. It does seem like they want to run at least a Bastion, and the Sombra might be there to put them in an interesting position with the teleporter.
Yeah.
Or she might just be out here. The teleporter comes up.
There we go, at the top.
Yeah, is it time? It's time! Let's go. The highest of horses here. On the low ground, you call it the mini Shetland. You get Orisa up here on quadruped, 4 legs, and a Bastion. Let's go.
Oh, this is amazing. I really want this to work, just because we don't get to see this that often.
Ooh, nice
or ever. Nice sleep. And if you're tuning in, welcome Disney viewers on the Disney XD channel. This is the Overwatch League live from Blizzard, or live from Los Angeles in the Blizzard Arena. We have the Guangzhou Charge versus Dallas Fuel, and currently the Charge are up 2-0 in this best of 5. We're looking for the first team to win 3 maps. So Dallas backs to the wall right now. And it's the Charge on offense with 3.5 minutes to get the job done.
Now, Dallas, I mean, you mentioned backs against the wall, maybe feeling a lot of pressure, but this seems like a set strategy going in. Bastion can be so good right now. He's gotten a lot of damage, or actually spread decrease in the last several updates. So we'll see what they can get done right now. Guangzhou's going to have to adjust their composition. They're going to put a Genji into this mix, which is really smart, can really slow a Bastion down.
Possible, but that high ground position right now is panning out, although we do have a couple of kills coming through. If you're losing these damage dealers on Fuel's side, it's going to get harder and harder to find the kills that will make this defense possible. See if it's going to fall apart here for the Fuel when it was all looking so good, Hex. It was all looking so good.
They had a couple of nice strategies, but they've gotten the kills that they need. Has Guangzhou here. They've been able to segment them off one by one, and the more that fall, the more that will continue to fall. Mercy is going to Valkyrie, and that's fine. That is not a wasted ultimate ability. There's no way they're staying on Mercy on the last point. They tried a strategy. Now they're getting off it. Going to switch over into 3 tanks and 3 supports most likely.
Yeah, that's looking likely here. OG, yep, going for the Winston. Give him that vertical element with the leap to get onto the high ground. Don't want the Charge to just have free reign here. As Happy is looking for a way in. Spot out OG.
The issue when you try one of those strategies and it fails is that now you have to completely reset your ultimate economy. 3 people EMP'd, trying to snowball this in. The Charge come charging in.
Oh, sick nano boost as well on Rio. He decides to back off, but that could have been some crazy damage going through. RCK is going to get a fresh mech, so good on him for that. And Rio willing to go aggressive for the very reason that he has his primal. Kip needs to come up with the goods here, not finding the kills, and a blade not really actually that effective.
They can still stay in, though. They're getting the kills they need. Dallas needs to find something to try to bring this back. Genji very effective on these last points, too, because of that ultimate and his ability to get multiple kills in a row, because his ability is reset on participation in elimination.
Exactly right. OG doing the best that he can to survive, to buy time. Dallas Fuel need to keep a body on the point, and Effect got knocked off of it. He was right there, X. It looked like he was in range, but that's not the case.
Now they could have been close to stabilizing, had some options up, but only one kill for the Dallas Fuel on their defense. We'll see how their offense fares after the break.
Welcome back from the short break, and we're going to get into the action to see whether or not it's going to pan out here for the Fuel.
Dallas has to find some sort of offense on this map. If they do not complete it by some way, and that will be 3-0 Guangzhou Charge, and they'll win the series.
Curious to see what Dallas have got in store for us. It's looking like they're going to go back to the basics here, isn't it? The common strategy. We're going to get a replay here of the take from the Charge, where everything really aligned perfectly for them. Dallas set themselves up to be in a really tough spot, and the Charge took full advantage of that. And we did see the knockback, and Closer also looked like he was alive there at the end, but neither of them within range to contest on the point. So Fuel got to be frustrated with that one. That was an excellent time put up by the Charge. And now Dallas Fuel have 4 minutes to pick up this first point and do the same to them.
Okay, the Dallas offense is running 3 tanks, 3 supports, but OG is on the Winston for that mobility, for the verticality he provides. Be able to jump up there with RCK and try to pick off some of the targets. Seems like the same composition defensively for the Charge.
Yeah, this is frail. You know, in terms of kills right now, Dallas, they're lagging behind. They need to actually do something about that. Otherwise, it's going to go south for them, trying to battle their way up onto the high ground to get a little bit of an edge working for them. Instead, it's going to be Kib backing off. As far as Happy is concerned, he's just working on getting that energy up. But now Dallas Fuel will have control of the high ground, and it's on them now to initiate into the Charge defense. Hotpa got to play it safe, backing off so that his teammates can top him back up again, and we will have the trance as they initiate. Happy, fully charged. He's going to melt them. Looked for it, didn't quite find it, working on that grab, and he will be working on, he's going to get it for this next fight. It's going to go live right now, and now it's a question of whether or not he wants to throw it into the mix.
I think that it looks like that Dallas is at least momentarily retreating because OG is taking so much damage. Rio's just going to knock him about. He's got a Lucio isolated in the corner behind him. Meanwhile, Happy beams up the front line. That is a full retreat for Dallas. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to take this first point and continue on the map and continue on this series, hopefully. They do have several of their ultimate abilities up. That's what those check marks up top mean. Meanwhile, Guangzhou does as well. See what Dallas wants to do to initiate. They've had great success in using the traditional 3 support, 3 tank combination. Graviton, self-destruct, knock him out of the way.
Knock him out of the way and watch him go boom. Rio getting pinned in the corner. He had a bubble there to protect him though, so he will be able to make it out intact. Effect still trying to find a way in here. They'll have OG there to watch his back as well. But Charge right now have got to be feeling pretty good about the situation. Both rallies have been used. All of the major important ultimates are online now for Charge to weather the coming storm. 3 players on the point here for Dallas Fuel, trying to make some progress, and they're looking to get on. Oh, what a big play coming in. They get the flank on OG, and Zachary will trade it back 1 for 1. Still no big tank in line here for Dallas Fuel to soak the damage.
Wow, they're going to have to drop to the low ground, though. Now Effect is trying to find the angle to use a Graviton of his own, trying to get that D.Va out of Mac. D.Va's in a lot of trouble, gets support. The grab does come in as soon as Hotpa flies away. Smash with the cleanup, though. Hotpa's actually able to self-destruct. He'll get a new Mac. He just wanted a new Mac. He's able to get Zachary for a bonus.
That's unreal. Zachary is going to be kicking himself. We're down to a minute on the clock now for the Fuel, and they are falling one after another. So reset time here for the Fuel. Ooh. Head back to spawn. And the delay, this is such a great stagger.
The D.Va gets out of mech. A lot of times you want to wait to kill her so that it's going to be a long time before she can rejoin her team. You see all of Dallas leaving spawn now, except for that D.Va gonna have to wait a second. And Dallas used everything they had there. They're gonna have another self-destruct. They're going to probably get Rally and a couple other ults during this, but this is Dallas's last push or they lose the series. Not like this, Fuel.
Yeah, this is it. And this would be a disastrous performance from the Fuel here at the beginning of the season. It means that they would not have, they're still struggling to find the answer. Still trying to decide how they want to approach things. Effect is back into the roster, AKM on the bench, but we're not seeing a huge difference. Unko's got the trance online now. His big ultimate to keep his teammates alive, and he's not gonna hesitate, throws it out there in the mix, but that does not save Effect. Effect somehow dies in the process, and this should be it. Can his team hang on long enough until he can get back into this fight? Self-destruct thrown into the open by RCK, but he finds no kills with it. And the trance was used here by Shu to keep his teammates up, but we still have some of that rally armor on board, and Happy will take down OG. It's falling apart for the Fuel. They're forced off of the point, and this is going to be it. The charge with the hard hold on the first point of Anubis, and the Fuel sent home packing 3-0.
The more I watch Trio, the more I'm impressed. His Hammond was good, his Rhine was good, his Winston forced out ultimates before they wanted to use them on Anubis. And the Guangzhou Charge have proven they can play anything wacky, they can play your 3-3, they can play everything. We'll do map 4 after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. We are live here from Los Angeles in the Blizzard Arena. Guangzhou Charge win the series 3-0, but we will play out the last map here of the 4 map types. We'll play out the last map for the playoff standings at the end of the stage. If there's any ties, head-to-head ties between teams, it's the map difference that makes the difference and allows for the team to go into the playoffs or not. So we will play out this last map, Hex, and we'll see. Dallas Fuel, once again, making changes, really struggling.
Can they salvage something on here? Again, it's just so baffling, this Dallas team. And I mean, I guess across the board in the league, it's just been parity everywhere. So Dallas loses 0-4, then they beat Seoul 3-1, and everyone's like, oh, Dallas is legit. And now they're down at least 0-3 versus Guangzhou. Guangzhou, it's their first win of the season. They lost a heartbreaker 2-3 to Chengdu. So, you know, your guess is as good as mine when it comes to some of this. But I think the impressive thing about Guangzhou is they played different styles, and they played them all well. you could say a lot of things about Rio on all 3 tanks, which is kind of rare in the league. Usually you have someone who's a specialist on a Reinhardt, but they prefer Winston, and someone's a good Hammond. He played all 3 very, very capably.
Gesture from London comes to mind, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where you are having to show your versatility now with all these heroes. We've seen every hero in the pool, all 29 of them, get played within the first week, which is awesome in terms of parity, in terms of balance for the game. When you're getting to see all of these diverse strategies get thrown in, that puts a lot of pressure on the players, though. You need to be able to step up on a whole host of different heroes. Just to highlight how dominant that win was for the Charge, though. Just going to throw it out there, 27 kills to 2 kills for Dallas. Perhaps that's what's prompting, you know, the change up here. AKM will be subbing in for Effect once again. And, well, it's a tough pill for AKM to swallow. Take him out, and what happened?
Well, I mean, they just got stomped. They just got stomped. And it's just so strange because Anubis is a map that we think of, and we had just seen in the previous series, you can take it to the distance multiple times. No one's really playing solid defense on it.
Yeah.
And I think that the Dallas strategy there just looked... it was kind of all in, you know, to start your defense with an Orisa, with a Bastion. When that failed, they had to switch everything over and were unable to get the switches fast enough, and then they just got outvalued. The ultimates were up for Guangzhou, and they were able to take advantage of it. So it's a strategy that you're really betting on your first point having some success at the very least. It did not. Guangzhou took it apart handily, and they took it apart with heroes that are actually really good at closing out maps too, with a Sombra and a Genji.
That's the big point to make. Genji, actually seeing some Genji play. It's not every day we get to say that, Hex.
Kib's a good
too
Genji.
popular these days, but there you go. Yeah, Kib showing the value. We're going to go ahead and take a look at a quick stat card here for Rio as well, the tank for the Charge. And he's really been impressing us today. I mean, as far as Winston, you know, it's hard to get those final blows, everything, but before he had like 17 final blows or something. I mean, the guy's a monster, and those kinds of numbers, you're really pumping those numbers up if you're a tank.
He's just engaging in the correct way. I mean, only 1 death on the last map, but it was the final fight that I found so fascinating. He's able to find the supports, and he's not getting the kills on the supports, but he's making them play the way they don't want to. He forced out Transcendence because he jumped onto the Zenyatta. The Zenyatta then plays low ground. Then he chases Zenyatta with his Primal Rage after the Transcendence, forces out Sound Barrier to save the Zenyatta. So he's making the other team make decisions they don't want to. He's putting pressure on them.
That's what it's all about, though. When you're getting these kinds of very close matchups in terms of strategy, it's who's making the mistakes. Who's making the mistakes? Who is getting forced into situations that they will not benefit from? And, well, that's it. Rio, capable, showing that he is a beast. Route 66, though, will be our last map in this series. The Charge have won the series. We're playing this map now just for the playoff purpose in case there are ties. But this is the payload map. This is, you get the cart at the start, you got to push it as far as you can.
Right. So if you're Dallas, you need to mentally bounce back because we are playing it for a reason. Dallas still can pick up a map. They don't want to go down 0-4. Your differential can really hurt you when it comes down to how close this league is right now. I'd be stunned if we don't see stage playoffs and grand playoffs determined by map differential because all of our 20 teams are so close together in skill right now.
Last season, that was the case. You had to get the abacus out on the desk to just figure out what's going on, who's going to go how far. But it still matters for Dallas. They can't throw in the towel. They have to get the win here. We have AKM back into the mix, and so we will be running this 3 tank, 3 support strategy for Fuel.
It's the Sombra in there as well, so it's a 3-2-1. Sombra being a utility hero. You've got 3 supports, 2 tanks, 1. She's classified as a damage dealer, but really a lot of the times you're using it to get hacks, to disable abilities, to single out targets, and then of course her ultimate makes sure that nobody on the opposing team who gets hit by it can use any abilities. So she's kind of a utility hero. We'll see what Guangzhou wants to run. They're in spawn, so they can change at any given time.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and spot real quick. They even get the Sonic Arrow out there just to see through the walls, catch anybody out that was trying to set a trap, and that was Dallas Fuel there, holding very aggressively all the way up on the payload. Really want to make the Charge fight for every step here at the beginning.
Now, this has been a predominant strategy on Route 66. If you lose this fight, you can still set up, again, on the defense where you generally used to set up. So now it's just no ground given for free here. Make the offense fight for every inch. And so far, no inches gained.
So far, the Sombra is okay. Hoppa will finally make his way into the fight. RCK only just now going to jump in as well, but both of them were just kind of sitting in stealth, invisible, waiting for an opening to present itself. Happy doing a good job of getting that energy online, so he will start to hurt. Right now, the Fuel just going to get run over. Happy's perspective, it is going to be the 1-to-1 trade. But they managed to pick off the key. Only issue being here is that the Fuel have got a long way to run back. If they die...
Trades will favor the offense in this specific situation because the respawn point is right back behind that diner right there, so they can wait for reinforcements. They should have a small advantage here while the Dallas support Zenyatta trying to get back. Zenyatta is slow here, so some progress will be made on this payload.
It's kind of funny that he's slow, though, just considering his feet don't actually touch the ground. He should be able to just run right through. EMP and a big one. Catches out the Fuel, they're gonna get wiped out. When an EMP hits, you are silenced, you are hacked, you're not able to use your abilities. So that obviously makes you a very squishy target.
Yeah, especially these tanks who rely so heavily on their abilities to shield each other, being the Zarya or the Reinhardt, and then you don't have Discord Orb. It just affects tanks and supports so much more than it does some of your damage-dealing heroes. Going to be another fight, though. RCK is getting himself in position, calling out where the opposing team is, and he's ready to use that EMP. And Dallas has plenty of ability to follow up on this.
Especially when they're all grouped up together, the Charge. So he's taking his time right now, waiting for the proper moment.
The Charge are going back to spawn. They're changing up.
They're just waiting this out. Hotpa gonna be on that Diva, and here it is. The EMP straight on through, and immediate destruction on the Charge's side. Great coordination here on the Fuel to pounce, not giving the Charge an instant to react.
What you want to see after an EMP1 fight is all your other ultimates still up. It can be such a defining ultimate that if you get the right targets in EMP and you get the correct follow-up, you don't have to use anything else, which is somewhat a rarity in Overwatch right now. A lot of combo pieces, a lot of ultimates used together to win fights. The EMP can be a game changer in that way.
Well, Charge, they know this as well. They've got the ults online on their side of things. Chara just a little bit off in terms of the sound barrier, but now we're gonna see who's gonna slip up first. Both teams know. And Shu finding the kill on Unko is a fantastic start. No Zenyatta in play, no Transcendence, so they're going to try and capitalize on this. Getting the grab out there. Transcendence eventually gonna wear off on Shu's side, but the shield there to block it. Zachary, though, eats an inch. Well, he eats the shatter, and that's gonna be it. Charge, they've succeeded in breaking the defense.
They forced out a defensive Graviton too. They all got grabbed, and it's actually a smart defensive Graviton because there's no ranged damage at that point. They're all just staring at each other, but you called it exactly right. They knew that the opposing team did not have Transcendence, which is great to use when you're all clumped up. It does healing over a wide area, does healing at a very high rate, and it's generally thought of as the counter to getting Graviton Surge. They got that early kill from Shu, who's not just an Ana apparently, and then they go right off of it.
That was the big play, and that has unlocked the first point for the Charge. Now it's on Dallas to hold here. 3 points total on this map. So the Charge off to a solid start. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Another EMP comes through here from RCK, but the sound barrier goes off, and it will succeed in keeping them alive, although Rio does go down. Pop up, trying to back off, trying to play it safe. He will hang in there, and the rest of the Charge are just getting out here, waiting for their Ryan to come back to life. That one kill, if your focus fire is good on the Fuel side, you get that EMP off. If you can take the Rhine out, that's pretty much a one fight.
Now going into the next defense for Dallas, they will be able to have a Graviton and a Transcendence. Offensively, they're going to have the combo piece we were talking about up. They've got a Graviton and they've got a Self-Destruct. It can be a game-winning combination, but you got to find a way to knock the shield down so that you can get that damage through.
So very curious to see how this is all going to pan out. Chara, the one to pick it up on RCK. And right now the Charge will be able to work together. They're going to gather them all up. Do they manage to eliminate the shield? No, they do not. Instead, it's going to be the counter shatter going straight in on OG. He gets nailed, and the rest of the team are going to fall apart here on the Fuel side of things. The difficulties continue, but there is still a lot of ground to cover here until the second point. That's the advantage with holding so far up on the Fuel side. They're going to be able to get another fight out of this.
We were talking about Rio on his Winston on the last map, but so far his Reinhardt has been exquisite this map. He's getting his Earth Shatter up every 1 minute and about 30 seconds. He's got 5 Earth Shatter kills, meaning his knockdowns have led to 5 eliminations. So he's just outplaying. He's hitting these shatters. OG looking for some redemption. He's got his shatter up as well.
He's got to figure it out here. Has to dodge that shield somehow. Rio hanging in. OG trying to stay right on top of him, trying to build it up. But there's still progress getting made on the cart. Nobody here to contest for the Fuel, and they're just holding at the door. It's only now that they're going to move in, and that's off the EMP. Shu just gets the headshot. RCK's out of it.
What a
no follow-up. That is the high-value target.
I think going forward in the league, we have to keep an eye on Shu as a flex support because this has been a masterclass in both Ana and Zenyatta. Graviton comes in, follow up from Happy. Able to get it in there.
This could work. I mean, the trance has been forced by Unko, so he will be getting the ult out, but there's high damage possible here for Happy. He is charged up with energy. And there's the counter EMP getting thrown into the mix. Fully wiped, fully hacked on the Fuel side. 2 big kills make that a third. And this is going to be it for the Fuel. A second point will get picked up here by the Charge. And they will have a chance now to push it to the third and final point of Route 66. Minute and a half on the clock.
Well, Shu is doing so much damage on his Zenyatta. He's getting Transcendence up every single minute that passes. He's done a lot of work so far. Shu's going to have that Transcendence up right now. Going to need it because AKM's going to be looking to get this Graviton in. Grav just follows right in. Transcendence immediately there.
Yeah, no hesitation whatsoever. Shu just throws it out there. So they will counter 1 with 1. The rally goes off as well from Kib. And he is just powering forward. No hesitation on his side of things. Needs to back up to give his teammates a little bit of that armor. They do get a bit of the bonus HP. And now they're just going to keep pressing forward here, Charge. They've got 1 good push in them. They're getting all the kills. They're ahead by 16 kills, 26-10. So the Fuel, they're doing a good job. Despite not getting kills, they're doing a good job of stalling the payload out. Now it's about winning a fight here for the Fuel, ending this map.
Happy, another Graviton comes in. They're going to try to get some follow-up. Not quite there. Able to demech RCK. Is it going to be enough? Shatters are exchanged. No one on the ground from them, though.
No, neither one affected. The shields were up. Rio's got to be careful. Doesn't want to die. He will survive a little while longer, and that payload now getting very close to the third point on this map. Zachary looking for the cheeky sleep, not going to find it, and now it's going to be the Nano. OG going to do a lot of damage here, but he's missing his charge. Pinned up against the wall, the rest of his team spread out behind him. Self-destruct gets thrown up in the air by RCK, will not find a kill, and it looks like we did manage to eat the Grav. AKM not going to get that ult off. Instead, it's Kib taking down the kill on OG, and that's pretty much going to snuff it.
They've got another self-destruct in the back to try to zone out. They've got a Graviton should they need it to keep people off of the cart, and now it is going all the Charge way as they continue to push through. Desperation ultimates coming out, just trying to get pressure on the cart, but not long for this world as Unko falls. Now it's just a matter of time. Rio swinging the hammer. Guangzhou Charge will complete Route 66.
Once again, an excellent performance here from the Charge. We're surprising us all with this performance. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll find out if Dallas can fight back after that. The Charge have won the series. Now let's see if they can win the final map to be played in it. The Fuel now are going to be the ones on the offense with the Charge on the defense. And well, so far the Charge have been looking very remarkable.
It seems like they've got the recipe as far as how they've built this team. I believe the best teams in the Overwatch League have a star player at every one of the roles. And so you've got Shu, who's looking like a star. You've got Rio, who's looking like a star. And you've got Happy, who when damage dealers are necessary can do it. And his Zarya has been much improved and much better than I thought it would be. Then you've got supplemental players who are all doing their job at a very high level. It's everything you need. That's how you build a team. Frontline all-star potential, backline all-star potential, damage dealer all-star potential.
And we're seeing the effects here. Dallas Fuel, there was high hopes coming into this series despite the shakiness in the roster. Was expecting to see a different level out of them, but that is just not the case. The Charge slamming the door shut. And now let's see it. Are the Fuel going to be able to make any progress with the payload, or is this going to go south? Already getting a bit of variety here. AKM will find the headshot to kick things off. That's Chara on the Mercy. Out of the fight immediately, only to get straight hit back. Surprise! Happy with the headshot.
Goes down, exchanging blows from our snipers. The Widowmaker play has been exceptional.
How has Kib survived? Is it just me, or does he just, I mean, he's just hiding in back, like, please don't find me.
By a wing and a prayer.
He's hanging out, and well, we've got 2 kills now on the board for OG. Kib doing a good job. AKM and Happy on your screens now. Not a whole lot of talking going on from either one. Just here to do a job. And while this is a different approach coming in from the Fuel, not every day that we get to see Roadhog in action.
Well, this reminds me a lot of the compositions we used to see on Junkertown in the last year's metagame, where you put a Bastion on the cart, and then you can get double snipers as well, which Hanzo is considered a sniper, bow and arrow, Widowmaker, of course, considered a sniper, sniper rifle, and then you put your flex support onto a Roadhog, and he can heal himself, so you don't have to have the attention of your only support, which would be Closer in this situation.
Well, a nice hack on RCK to kick things off. That's the Diva out of the mix immediately. And so Unko on the high ground here. But they don't even need to show themselves at this point, the Charge. They can just hang around. So long as they're contesting on the payload, they don't need to risk getting killed. Hoppa will be able to back off and stay alive.
Hoppa just adding to his hero pool now as he's going to be on the Sombra for this Guangzhou Charge. Has got his EMP ready. But right now, Dallas is so spread out that EMP might be hard to hit.
Oh, and it might be a little late to throw that in now. Too many kills here for the Dallas Fuel, just like that. Able to make it work. The Valk is out for Closer. Battle Valk, Battle Mercy, let's go. And that's a bunch of kills picked up for the Fuel, and that will unlock the first point for them. So the change of strategy seems to be panning out for them.
Yeah, so far, when you get those double sniper compositions, you want to set them up on different points so you can get a little bit of a crossfire. Call those sight lines. You don't want to be seeing the other sniper, so if you peek one and you're trying to go the other way, then the other one can see you. I'm trying to get them into an area where they can't really avoid both at the same time.
Zachary just applying a little bit of pressure on the high ground. There's the EMP, there's the Initiate. RCK instantly deleted, chucked in with the Dragons to try and counter it. That's not going to be good enough. All the kills going on the board here for the Charge. And Zachary will get deleted. So the Charge able to make it work. AKM all by his lonesome. And just like that, we'll see the whole change up of strategy. Unko over to the Zen. We've got OG on the Rhine. Gonna be back to the tried and true.
Yeah, it was fun for a while, but they've used all their abilities, and now it's just difficult. Now Dallas, because they've changed up their strategies, are going to not have the same level of ultimates that the Charge are. Ultimates charging through healing and damage, so when you switch to a new hero, that charge does not come with you.
And an early scout from Hoppa, so they know exactly what's coming. Charge, they're not gonna get caught off guard. Hoppa able to transmit the roster change back to the rest of his team, and so now we're on the high ground here with the Charge. Happy just gets to lob grenades down, and he is fully energized, so he's going to be doing quite a bit of damage.
Well, the Energize just backs off a little bit.
Oh, there's the money shot. That was a sick grab. Both of the targets, high-value targets that he eliminates immediately, and the Fuel have to back off.
And they're in there on the chase, and right now they might even get AKM last second. Yeah, they're going all the way to the spawn doors. Oh, show of disrespect, just gonna camp right outside there. They cleaned them all up, and I think this is where they want to play their defense. Yeah, they forced Dallas out of the secondary door here, and now we're back to the gas station known as Big Earl's. See how long that the Charge want to stick in here. They have got a great ultimate economy right now, several different massive abilities to work with. Dallas going to try to outpace them and outmaneuver them.
Not going to happen. Rio, Johnny on the spot, has the shield up. Teammates are going to be able to hide behind him, and now it's on the Fuel to somehow get some ults online. Rio still looking for that shatter play. Got a chance, yep, catches him looking the wrong way. Trance gets forced here by Unko. And it's RCK even throwing in the self-destruct, hoping to catch somebody out. That's not going to be the case. Shu is going to use his trance, and we're getting the proper delays thrown in. Hoppa even following it up with the EMP, and that's going to be it. OG, dead.
Under 2 minutes for Dallas Fuel to salvage something out of this already lost match, trying to get themselves a map win to not fall too far behind in differential. They're going to have some ultimates coming online. This is the ultimates that you want to use to try to catch a big team fight win. AKM nearing grab. Zach can make them all happy and healthy with a rally. Give everybody armor and some speed to go with it.
And a pep talk.
And a pep talk, yeah.
Gotta rally the troops. Gather round. Let's go get him. And that's exactly the thought as the Ryans go charging into each other. The grab is there for the Fuel as well. 2 kills for the Fuel, and that's the opening they were looking for. Like Charge, because they're holding so close, they will be able to challenge again before this payload makes it to the second point. 60 seconds on the clock here for the Dallas Fuel. Now it's getting down to that moment where it's going to have to be picture perfect for them.
Dallas only had to use the 2 ultimates there. Rally used to last a little longer. The armor would stay there. now it does decay after 30 seconds, so that armor will be ticking downwards as they go into the next fight. And it does look like Hoppa is looking to get in position to at least get a hack going on here. He's not quite near EMP yet.
No, but he is off on the sides. Was spotted out there, looks like. May be able to work his way back around. Yep, to the back line. If he can get a hack on Unko, that would be huge. Still on the hunt. Well, now it's going to be the grab, followed by the sound barriers on both teams. Both of these targets going to be difficult to kill, but Rio charging in, gets focused immediately. Along with the Discord Orb, that's going to pay perfect dividends, and AKM ready to melt him. The charge doesn't... Oh! Does decide. Hoppa decides to throw in the EMP.
He went for it. Absolutely went for it. If they still had Rio up, I wouldn't have minded it, but Rio... The Transcendence came out a little bit late from Shu, so Rio died early on in that engagement. They throw in the EMP. I wonder if they're going to make a little bit of a switch here. Yes, they are. That's why you end up using EMP. Sometimes when you see ultimate abilities not used to their greatest potential, it means that they're going to switch heroes anyway. Might as well use it. Might as well. There's no point in dying with it.
Yeah, see if you can get some value out of it. So Hoppa back on the Diva. The 2-ton mech is in play. RCK mirroring him. We have 3 ults online now for Fuel though, so this is going to be it. Minute on the clock once again. And it's on AKM. Gets that grab in there. Perfectly done. Excellent cleanup coming in here from the Fuel. All the kills go their way. And now have 50 seconds to push this payload to the 3rd point and tie up this map.
And their 3-3 has looked pretty solid on this offense. They're able to win these team fights without overcommitting ultimate abilities. Again, only needed grab there. Now they still have a shatter. They've still got rally. Still got a lot to work with.
Happy's got to be careful. Doesn't want to go down here. We're getting very close. Sub 30 seconds now for the Fuel. They've got the edge. Happy has got the grab. He could throw that in here to try and stall things out. We have the Trance online as well for Shu, so they're starting to get some tools here for the Charge to use to bolster this defense. Happy on the angle, will be able to protect his teammate. Trance goes out as well. Self-destruct will find nothing, and we'll have the counter grab getting thrown in. The Fuel must survive, and Zachary comes so close to dying, but the Trance used by Unko keeps him alive. Zachary and OG, though, dropping dangerously low. They're on the hunt, and a double! Unko and AKM get blown up by Hoppa. Not going to work here for the Fuel, and now they're at risk of getting swept. 4-0 possible for the Charge, and it's looking likely. Nobody alive for the Fuel, and the Charge will succeed. Clean victory for the Charge. 4-0 win over the Fuel.
Guangzhou able to sustain long enough in that final fight to get the tools they needed to work with, to get the Transcendence up to stay alive, to get that self-destruct, which eventually won them that map. And a rough 4-0 Dallas Fuel, but Guangzhou's got to feel good looking forward. They put on a pretty impressive display.
Definite progress being made from this team, and well, getting a bit ahead of himself there. It's on the winners to go for the walk. And so we will get the handshakes here from both of these teams, but the Charge have got to feel very good about how things have turned out today. Dallas Fuel, I mean, Closer, no worries, man. It happens, it happens. Closer and the rest of the Fuel back to the drawing board for them. They've got to figure out what they need to do.
I mean, you talk about just the entire roster. Kib's been able to play versatile. Then you have Hoppa, which we haven't even mentioned enough. Played Tracer, played Sombra, played Diva at very high levels. I mean, this whole roster seems like it's really rounding itself out in front of our eyes.
Yeah, no, this is definitely shaping up to be a team to keep your eye on. The Charge, they have impressed, but we're going to go ahead and hand it over to Emily now for a winner interview.
Hey guys, it's Emily here with Kib. Congratulations to you and the Guangzhou Charge.
Thank you.
So this was the first time that we've officially seen you here at the Overwatch stage. So how does it feel to celebrate that with your first team win?
It feels amazing, honestly, playing on this stage, and especially with this team. I never imagined getting into Overwatch League with this kind of team, but after getting in, settling in, playing with them, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the questions that was on everyone's mind was, you know, this is one of the most diverse teams in Overwatch. So how did you guys communicate? Like, was, you know, comms and shot calls difficult for you guys?
I guess at the first, like when we all got signed and went to the boot camp in China, it was a little rough. But as soon as we got to like Korea and came to LA, it really thinned out, and like our comms are actually really well going into every single scrim match, and I'm really confident about our comms now.
Awesome. And just curious, how fluent is your Chinese?
Terrible. It's terrible.
All right, maybe next time. Well, congratulations again. Thank you, Kib. Semler and Hex, back to you guys.
Good man, Kib, good man. No hesitation on his side, didn't even try to fluff it.
You respect the honesty. You have to respect the honesty. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses.
Good man. So let's go ahead and take a look at our player of the match now. This is the player that stood out in all aspects, brought to you by Omen, by HP, and it is Rio. I don't think this comes as a shock to you, Hex.
I think it's so important to have a main tank player who can play all the different main tanks for all the reasons I mentioned already, but also it doesn't telegraph your strategy. You're not bringing in one guy and they know, oh, they're going to run this composition. You keep Rio in all the time and you have no idea what composition they're going to run around. And Guangzhou is one of those teams that have shown they can run the standard compositions that everyone else can run. They can run a different variation of it. They can run the completely other side of the field, but he had stats on every different hero. And at first his Reinhardt looked a little shaky here and there, but as the day went on, he just got better and better.
I mean, it's not every day you're seeing a Rein pull in 26 final blows. I mean, that's a sick performance on his side. It means that not only is he keeping his team up, he's getting the kills as well to help him out. Hey, my boy, Jonathan Larsson, reinforce. Guangzhou Charge is the most entertaining team in the league. So many threats. Happy, Rio, Hoppa, Shu. Fun compositions, highlight playmakers. I mean, this is all true, Johnny. Thank you.
Who else? Who would know better about tank play than Johnny? Of course, a former professional tank player himself. But I think what he really highlighted is that it's the youngest team in the league. And this Guangzhou team had told me, they're like, we just want to be as competitive as possible. We have our goals realistically set. We're all about growing for the future. Right now, it looks like they picked out the right young core of talent.
I'm always so on the fence about that mentality. You know, it's like, oh, we're just thinking about the future. It's like, no, get it done now. But clearly, something's working for them. Yeah. Another team to keep an eye on is going to be coming up next. That's Chengdu. And they're going to be playing against the Seoul Dynasty. So Chengdu Hunters versus Seoul Dynasty will be our final match in the studio today. And I mean, that's going to be a barn burner as well.
Dallas beat Seoul, Chengdu beat,
how does this work
Guangzhou.
out?
I don't know. There's a whole circle of wins and losses, and it's hard to figure out. Give me a couple weeks, we might know who's good, but it's been fun so far.
Yeah, beginning of the season here, so keep tuning in. We'll see how it all goes down. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will be getting into the final match.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.